Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Best of British Business campaign. I'm Alistair Greener and today I'm talking to Peter Kelsey from Designer Contracts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we all love the big brands because they offer us this consistency, but we also like the local brands because they give us a level of service that we're after. So the question is, within your industry, what are the two options looking like there?
You're absolutely right. The big brands give people the consistency with the price, the buying power, but they're also somewhat impersonal. And they don't have local people on the ground. People like to buy from people. They like to look somebody in the eye and talk to them. Local supplier. They know the businesses. They might have dealt with them before. And the local touch is great. But are you going to get from your local supplier the price that you must have in this day and age?
Now, when it comes to, again, to your industry, who's got the edge here? Is it the nationwide brands or is it the more local ones? Who's winning that?
It's a great conflict. You've got people, particularly with the market, with the economy as it is at the moment, we've got people who are nervous about dealing with the smaller supplier. They want the confidence of dealing with a larger company, with the financial security, but really they want the social value that the local company is going to give. So many local companies are great, but they haven't got the consistency. They may not have been around for a long time, and it's really difficult for the customer to decide where they're going to place the order.
Let's play a thought experiment for a moment. Let's say that I'm responsible for a residential care home that needs new flooring throughout, and I'm now having to make a decision on where I get my supplies from. Is it possible to have the best of both worlds in that environment?
It should be, but I'm not sure that it really has been. If you're doing that, what you're trying to provide for the residents in the care home is a great product at the great value that actually makes them feel at home. This is their home, and you need to make sure that what you're putting on the floor is the finishing touch. And it needs to be something that is going to last, look good, that they're going to feel comfortable and proud to live in. But you've got to have best value. And the combination of that means that you've got to have access to a big range of products, but you've got to know the locality as well. So it's a conflict between the large company that may not care as much and the small company that cares but may not be able to give you the value.
Okay, let's look at that conflict a little bit when choosing a supplier. Whether we're a care home, whether we're a hospital, a university halls of residence or commercial development, what are the kind of questions that anybody who's looking for that right supplier, what are those questions that they should be asking them?
They need to be looking for value. They need to be looking for somebody who has the financial stability to be able to see the project through and look after the customer services issues going forward. They need to have somebody with a big portfolio so that they can look after their care home. The developer needs to know the trends within the retail markets so that they can give their house buyers the right products on the floor. So they need knowledgeable people with a wide portfolio, with the right price, and with the service to make sure that it all holds in together.
It's all about balance. It's all about trying to get that right balance. So how do you achieve that at Designer Contracts?
Designer Contracts is actually perfectly positioned to do this because we're a national company with the biggest buying power of any flooring contractor in the UK because we're the largest. That's entirely logical. But we've got 15 regional offices, which is in total contrast to most other national companies that might have 2 or 3. So we really are a local company that gives social, local values, using local labour, knows what's going on in the local community, but we're backed by this national operation that can assist our local regions all the time.
One of the criteria you talked about earlier on when we were looking at the sort of questions we should be asking potential suppliers was consistency of quality. How do you deal with that particular challenge?
Again, the national operation really helps there because we're big enough that we can coordinate service issues across the country, and we can look at any particular product that starts to give any concern. So we monitor, particularly with new products, we monitor how they perform. We look for what actually can go wrong from installation through to post customer care and identify issues. Sometimes these can be alleviated by different fitting methods, that type of thing. Sometimes there's a manufacturing issue that's got to be dealt with. We're large enough that if we tap one of our suppliers on the shoulder and say, you need to do something about this, they'll listen to us and they'll do it. So we can actually solve some of the problems. If they can't resolve an issue, then because we deal with so many major manufacturers, we can actually move away from that product and introduce a new product, making sure that it's overcome the issues that we've experienced with the first one, but still giving key value for money.
We've talked a lot about the many different purposes flooring will have because of the place where it will end up, whether it be sort of commercial, residential or so on. So that obviously means you probably have to have a wide range of products available at your organisation, but also there's advice that you give. Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of helping your customer to make the right decisions for them.
You're absolutely right. We do need to make sure that we've got that quality of knowledge in all our regions, and we have a big training program backed up by the manufacturers to do that. And that's one of the key issues. We also hold internal training, and we make sure that we go through all our products that are available. Those are our regular products, but we've also got a team, a buying team, merchandise team that support all our regions, and they investigate specialist products wherever they're needed, so that we make sure that even if it's a product that isn't in common use, we know how to install it, we know the right way of doing it. We're important enough to our manufacturers that they'll come along with us to make sure that it runs smoothly on the first couple of occasions, because they want us to sell more of their products.
Service is a very key point, and we talked about that balance earlier on. The other side is, of course, pricing, and that can be a game changer for many organisations. So how do you fit in with that?
You've come back to the conflict situation that we started talking about with the national and the local suppliers. Pricing and volume go hand in hand. Because of our volume, we can deliver the pricing, but we can deliver it on a local level. So we've got the regions that are near at hand, and they can deliver the pricing because of our national structure.
Let's go back to our thought experiment where I was a decision maker at a retirement home. And really what I want to talk about is the process, that if a customer comes to work with you, talk me through what's actually going to happen from the moment they get in contact with you through to completion. How does that process look?
We start off really as a local company, as a local region. So we're on the ground, we're nearby, by definition, 15 around the country. We'll go to site, we'll meet the people, we can look them in the eye and talk to them about what they really need, what their needs are. Is it price? Is it design? Can we bring in our design team to help them with anything? And then we make sure that the whole project is managed all the way through. When we're pricing, we suddenly become a national company again, because we're bringing the advantages that we've got of the volume purchasing to our local solution. So we're able to give people the best of both worlds. And all the way through, after we've installed everything, we need to make sure that it runs smoothly and that any snagging is taken care of. Obvious things that you'd get from local companies. So we switch back to the local company service, having provided the pricing, which is key, on a national basis.
Another key that you mentioned there in part of the process is the delivery time and the lead times for that. How well are you equipped to be able to respond to shorter lead times?
The huge warehouse that we've got with £2 million worth of stock is a game changer. Nobody else in our industry has got anything like this. We carry more stock than most of our manufacturing friends. And because of that stock holding, we can actually shorten lead times, we can alleviate situations, help to build relationships, help people out of problems, help customers get away from problems that they may have caused themselves. The speed is excellent, and having that quantity of stock is just a game changer.
Where do you see the industry in, say, 5 years' time? And for that matter, where do you see yourselves in that period of time?
In 5 years' time, the industry is going to be a very different place. We're already seeing in this economic climate, there are casualties within the industry. Some contractors aren't making it, which is very sad, but it's true. And because of that, it's making some of the customers really quite nervous as to where they should actually spend their money. They need good value. Everybody needs good value. We're not in a boom situation where people don't care about the costs. I think that's probably gone forever now. So where is the market going to be? It's going to be less players that are financially sound, surviving, giving the customer what they want, are surviving. Whereas designer contracts going to be? On our current growth rate, in 5 years' time, we'll have doubled our turnover to around 80 million, probably 500 staff. Still, I hope, a very friendly place to work, giving our customers what they want, driven by our customers' needs, which in essence is local service but national value, and that's what we can do.
And that's the challenge that will remain with the industry, this striking that right balance between the two. And it's been really interesting to see how changes we see, throughout industry, how it's affecting the flooring industry. So it's been great to get a better insight of that. Peter Kelsey from Designer Contracts, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.